Hello, hello, how are we all doing? Back again with another stream. Today we're going to be looking at the Starblood Stalkers, the latest warband for Warhammer Underworlds. You can see a few people in the chat. Jay, you're lurking on Twitter. I see Andy and Craig over on YouTube as well. And music makes you feel like you're at Warhammer World. Yeah, I hope it's suitably epic enough for you. So yeah, we got these. We were looking to get these earlier in the week to do a review for the site, and I thought, you know what, may as well get some paint on these today. So that is the plan. We'll see how much we can get done on these. What are you guys painting? Have you guys got any plans? Anything you're working on at the minute? Let me know. So what I'm going to do first on these guys, I've already built them, obviously, given them a prime, and I've gone over them with the airbrush to give them a base coat of, ooh, what do we use? Temple Guard blue, to just try and get that blue down on the flesh to give us a nice kind of smooth coat on it. I thought it's a bit better than doing it by hand. Plus, otherwise you'd be sat here waiting for the paint to dry. So do a step early, a lot easier. So what I'm going to do first is actually paint the eyes, because at this stage, with us only doing the base coat, I think it's going to be easier for us to pick out the eyes and do that detail. And if we make a mistake, we can just go back in with the base coat. So that's the initial plan, and then we'll go through all the base colours, and hopefully we should be able to get quite a bit done on these tonight. That's the plan anyway. Jay is painting Infinity and an elf. An elf? I take it you're a little bit excited by the news we've just had on Warhammer Community, Jay, with the entirety of the next wave of the Lumineth Realm Lords up for pre-order next week. Crazy days. We kind of said, oh, we might get you know, maybe half the wave or a couple of kits. Nope, the whole lot, all in one go. So that's going to be super fun, and it's an expensive week for you, Jay, I guess, as well. Craig is painting Heavy Intercessors. Nice. I've not had the pleasure of painting those myself yet. I know, Jay, you painted the ones for the website, didn't you? And yeah, they look really, really nice. I'm tempted to add some to my force myself, because they do look properly gorgeous. I bet you're happy for next week, Jay. Yeah, Andy, I think he's going to be spending a few pennies somehow. There's an awful lot of kits in one go. What's your favourite kit from the stuff that we've seen, Jay? If you had to pick one. I know it's like picking a favourite child, but yeah. Which one are you looking forward to? We've got Steve Harbour in the chat as well, from Crew. Excellent. Local boy. How are you doing, Steve? What are you working on at the minute? Anything exciting? So I'm just getting the yellow down on these eyes first, and then what we're probably going to do is start picking out the gold and all the kind of base colours on the models. Jace's amazing model, so big. What, the Lumineth? Oh no, the Infinity stuff you're on about. Sorry, Heavy Intercessors. Right, got ya. Sorry, catching up with the chat here. Yeah, I really like the look of them. And I believe they're out separately in May as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm still undecided on what Space Marine Force I'm doing, to be honest. Whether it be Dark Angels or Space Wolves. So yeah, just putting this yellow down on these eyes, and then we'll move on to the other colours. Have to say, I've really enjoyed the Warhammer Underworlds that we've seen this season. I think they've knocked it out of the park with this stuff. A slightly smaller brush than that. Yeah, I think they've knocked it out of the park with the stuff for Underworlds. I mean, even the stuff in the start box is amazing. I painted up the can't remember what they're called, Kagra's Ravagers, the Chaos Warband not long ago. They were really fun to do. I mean, the one I'm most looking forward to is the Vampires. They look amazing. And yeah, after the little Warhammer preview that we had at the weekend, I am fully on board with the Vampire Army. The Soul Blight Gravelords. If you are interested in such things, if you head over to the website, I've put together a little article just kind of exploring the various units that we've seen we're getting and speculating on a few more that we might be getting. So yeah, check that out if you're interested. Jay, if you are free to pop a link in the chat to that, that'd be much appreciated. Steve is working on Imperial Fists, Napoleonic British, and figuring out some 10mm ECW. What's ECW? Not familiar with that. Napoleonic British sounds good. I've not done much painting this week because we've been doing some reviews and stuff, but I did manage to get a unit of British line infantry done for my Black Powder Force, so that was fun to do. I've been liking painting the Napoleonic stuff as a bit of a palette cleanser from all the fantasy. It's nice to have something a little bit different to paint. I think I'll have to do a French force as well once I've done the British. Oh, English Civil War, that makes sense, sorry. Half asleep still. Have you seen the American Civil War, I think it's 15mm set? That's, I think it's just come out. That looks pretty cool. Daz Moore, how we doing? How are things? You having a good day? What are you working on at the minute, Daz? In fact, Daz, did you see the teasers on the Warhammer preview? I can't remember the name. The 4th Broken Realms book. Looks like there's a big kind of, I don't know, centaur-looking thing. I'm getting kind of Chaos Dwarf vibes, if I'm honest. You never know. I mean, there's lots of things it could be, couldn't it? They could be Beastmen. They could be Kernothi. But yeah, I don't know. Kagros, that's it, Jay. Thanks. Yeah, definitely a possibility for some Chaos Dwarf action, though. I see Dave has appeared. How are we doing? Some Twitch login issues. Well, if you have an issue on Twitch, you can always log in through YouTube. We are broadcasting live to both platforms, so hopefully, whatever your favoured streaming service is, you should be able to watch it. So, we've just got the yellow down, so what I'm going to do now is block in the kind of darker scales on the back of these guys. So we'll use some Stegodon Scale Green for this. And all of these I'm thinning down a bit with Water Plus, just to get a really smooth kind of coat down. Krangos, he was a baddie in Turtles, right? Yeah, nice reference there, Jay. So, let's get some of this. And we will add some Water Plus. And basically just a drop, we'll just thin it down a little bit and make it a little bit easier to apply. It should flow really nicely. Craig, I just read ECW was Extreme Championship Wrestling. Possibility. That'd equally be cool. I don't know how much extreme wrestling you can do with, I guess, pikes and muskets, but yeah, go with it. So what I'm doing now is just painting in the scales on the back of this guy. So like I say, for ease, what I've done is sprayed the entire model the kind of light turquoise, and then we'll pop these in, give it all a bit of an all over shade, and then we can start highlighting the individual bits. So it should make it, in theory, really quick to get these painted up. Also just trying a new camera stand today, so if the angle's a bit funky, let me know. If it looks fine, again, let us know. It's the other one that I normally use is a lot bigger. It's a bit more flexible, so I'm just kind of gauging if this one looks okay. Basically, it just means that I can, in future, potentially have multiple cameras and have a bit more of a more complex setup. So yeah, let us know how it looks. If the angle's not ideal, I can try and fix that for you as well. Hastily thrown together, I'm afraid, today. So did everyone enjoy the preview show? Did we see anything that we fell in love with immediately? like, you know, squig hogs. Jay says 10mm wrestling. There you go, that's a new concept. I think you should get that on Kickstarter, Jay. Daz. Dropping all my money on Soulblight and Curse City, so if they did Chaos Dwarfs 2, I might need a huge loan. Oh, I am all over the Curse City and Soulblight Gravelord stuff myself. The models that we saw yesterday are absolutely gorgeous. Those new Blood Knights look so good. But even the skeletons and the zombies, it all looks good. There's not a bad miniature between them. I mean, even the Fellbats. I mean, those current Fellbats are a bit dated now, but these new ones are so good. Let's see if that works any better for you. He's in focus, isn't he? So yeah, looking forward to seeing them, and I don't think it'll be too long until we get them, to be honest. You know, if we've got the entirety of the Lumineth out next week, I don't think her City's going to be that far behind. I assume that they'll want it as like an Easter release, so that'd be the day before Easter. I think it'd go up for pre-order in theory, if it is the week after the Lumineth. So that'd be really good, and it'd definitely mean that it's potentially not that long to wait until the full Soulblight stuff as well. I don't think we've seen everything for them yet either. Just an idea I've got on it. If you've seen the article I put up today, on the Battle Tome cover, you can see a dragon that doesn't match the current zombie dragon. So I've got a suspicion that we might see a new one, and that'd be really cool. I'm a sucker for dragons. I'm a sucker for the undead. So combine the two of them, and yeah, that gets my vote. Alright, so I think we've nearly done the darker areas on him, so we'll pop him down. Craig, there's a Street Fighter minigame. We should kickstart our own wrestling one. Absolutely. There you go. New Kickstarter, 10mm wrestling. All the cool kids will be into that. Steve, I love the zombie updates. However, I still play 8th, so it might be an expensive unit. Yeah, just guessing, but I think they'll probably be in boxes of 10 rather than 20. Just because that's how they tend to box things these days. I might be wrong though. I might be wrong. They're definitely a good update from the old zombies though. Those zombies have been kicking around for a long time. So yeah, I'm glad that they're coming out. I know a lot of people have been using Mantic zombies and the like. And these are definitely more Warhammer, which is cool. You know, we all want to see something kind of cool and unique rather than regurgitating the same old stuff, so I do like it when we see something a bit new and interesting. And yeah, I'm interested to read the lore for these new zombies, with all the kind of like roots and stuff going through them. There's definitely something going down. So yeah, I'm hoping a lot of that will be in the Curse City kind of rule book as well, so hopefully we can start exploring the Soulblight Gravelords in that set. I really like you can use all the models from that set in your kind of normal Warhammer army as well. So yeah, that'd be good. Craig, I reckon there's at least a Mounted Lord, new Direwolves, new Vargeist, and maybe new Vampire Thralls. Maybe. Well, we've got that unit of 3 Vampire Thrall looking guys from Curse City, and we've got the Varg Skier as well. It's a big monster. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if there's a few more kits to come. On the front of the Battle Tome, there's actually a image of a direwolf. So whether that's a new one, I don't know, but it'd be pretty cool. Pretty cool if there was. Right. But yeah, it's I think one of the side effects of the slightly delayed release schedule that we've had for the last couple of months is that we're going to see an awful lot of kits released in the next few weeks. You know, we've had a pretty big 40k pre-order weekend this weekend just gone with the Drakari Codex, which is amazing, by the way. I've put together a video and Jay's done a full write-up on the book, and it's really, really nice. What I like about it is that you can really go to town with kind of customising your force and the various kind of elements that make up a real space raid. So I'm hoping that's something that we see in future codexes, because yeah, it's definitely something a bit fun. And then we've also reviewed, I forget what it's called now, Warzone Pterodon Act 1 of the Book of Rust for its full title. So I had to check what the title was on the book there. And that was really cool as well. So again, Dave's done a full kind of write-up and video on the site. But I was lucky enough to give the book a read today, and oh boy, there's some cool stuff in there. So yeah, if you're a fan of the Dark Mechanicum, there's a few nods to them during the story which I found interesting. So yeah, that's definitely well worth a read. I kind of like this stuff. I really enjoyed Marathi, the first Broken Realms book. So obviously we've got Teclis up for pre-order next week. And then Be'lakor, what I'm really looking forward to, is a bit of a, you know, I'm a Chaos player and Demon fan. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to getting my hands on that one. And then I really want to know what this mysterious creature that's awakened is. He doesn't sound good by any stretch. Well, he could be a particularly grumpy Kurnoth, perhaps. But yeah, it's definitely going to be a busy year for releases, I think. I mean, the last year, to be fair, once GW were putting out models again, it was pretty rapid fire release schedule, really. So I've got a feeling we might see more of that. Dave says, I'm technically painting demons today. Technically, I mean, these are more kind of dinosaurs made of stars, but yeah, I think they have got the demon keyword, so yeah, controversial. Right, so now we've got the big chap. He's got more blue to him. Let's have a look at the image of the studio one, see how that's painted. So yeah, with all that back there, then down on his legs. Okay, that's fine, we can do that. We get some more water plus. We'll get some paint on this guy. Yeah, I like painting Underworlds Warbands because it's a nice little palette cleanser. It gives you something different to paint in between your main army. And I mean, I've been painting all sorts over the last few months, but if you ever think you can get burnt out, just pick up one of these, something different to paint. You never know, you might find that it's a faction that you really like painting as well. I've painted up the Lumineth ones of these, and having not ever painted any Lumineth models, this kind of really got me excited to see what else was in the range. Jay says, I can see him coming out as a Destruction Merc type unit with a brand new Kurnothi battle tome to follow. There you go. That's certainly an option. I think from the video, I don't think we've got a lot to go on. If I had to guess, I'd say he's probably an evil character. He does look very much like the Beastmen Centaurs. So there was a named Centaur a long time ago in the world that was. And I do wonder if this is maybe a Beastman god that is ascended to godhood. You know, they can always change the lore. We can see the Beastmen become something else other than essentially chaos mutants. And I think that'd be a nice change from a lore point of view. But yeah, until we've seen a bit more, I think it's a bit early to call it. Oh, we saw the Centaur is Kragnos. I think it was implied in the trailer that this guy who's awoken is called Kragnos. So yeah, but we'll see. Hopefully, you know, if we've got Teclis out next week, and then Be'lakor hopefully not too long after that, we might find out in the next couple of months. Generally, GW previews tend to have stuff from within the next 3 months. They don't tend to have anything too far out following that. They also don't tend to show much further than the next release as well. So, hence why with the Lumineth up for pre-order next week, we'll probably start to see a little bit more about the Soulblight Gravelords. And likewise with the Drukhari out, we've seen a little bit about the Adeptus Mechanicus as well. They are April, according to the binary at the end of the trailer, so that's interesting. And I also suspect we're going to get a load of new models for the Adeptus Mechanicus. If you've seen it, guys, if you've got it to hand, if you could pop the link to the Warcom article in the chat. If you look on the front cover of that new Mechanicus book, it certainly looks like a new model in the centre. Games Workshop don't tend to put stuff on the covers that isn't a model you can buy. You know, from a marketing point of view, you know, you go into the shop, you see this book, oh wow, what's that cool thing on the cover? They're not going to say, oh no, that's not something you can buy. So I'm fairly certain what we're seeing there is potentially a Fabricator General. Now I say this because in the Broken Realms, in the Warzone Caradon book, we see the Fabricator General of Metallica, who is described as being as big as a super heavy tank. So yeah, he's been working out. Yeah, I am looking forward to seeing what they do with that, because a massive, you know, Silent King / Gulliman style super heavy for your Mechanicus army is going to be amazing. Like I said earlier as well, there's loads and loads of references to the Dark Mechanicum, so I think it is kind of teasing them too. So yeah, lots of cool stuff on the way, I think, in the next few months, which is ace. Oh, cheers for the link, guys. Oh, one in each sit. Like, there you go. Pros, Jay and Dave, both in different chats, sharing them out. That's great. Craig, if they use Kragnos as an excuse to completely refresh the Beastman range, change them to Destruction and give them a new book, that is actually good. I'm up for that. Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, like I say, we've not got a lot to go on. That's my suspicions. Jay thinks it's more Kernothi based potentially, or a new race. Could also allude to the Silent Ones under Direchasm. There's a lot of things it could be. There's a rumour engine that looks like the shield that's on the character, and it seems to have some like dwarven looking icons. Now whether that's just you know, this guy's been underground, his armour's made of various things that he's found, so it could well have elements of you know, old dwarf relics make up his armour maybe. Or like I say, you know, the Chaos Dwarfs have centaurs and the like, so yeah, lots of options. I mean, it could be a brand new force. We don't know yet, but there's lots of cool stuff it could be. And you know, that's part of the fun, isn't it? The mystery and trying to work out what it is beforehand. You know, sometimes it's nice to have that element of mystery. And the good thing with Age of Sigmar is that obviously with it being like a new world, new stories to be told, it gives you more of that mystery, I think. It's yeah, that's something I enjoy. I really enjoyed the Broken Realms Marathi book because it was all brand new lore. Where 40k, I think up until the last couple of editions, 40k's kind of been stuck at, you know, a minute to midnight terror beset from all sides. And kind of playing out that, where recently, certainly with the stuff that we've seen from this edition of the game and the Warzone supplement, we're seeing some lore development, which is cool. Typhus is up to no good. Abaddon's up to no good. Yeah, there's some cool stuff. And really in the book, the Fabricator General of Metallica's up to no good either. So even the good guys are a bit dubious in 40k. Where in AOS, you've kind of got a blank slate, so we could see allegiances shift, we could see new stuff created. You know, we've already seen Marathi essentially betray Sigmar and kind of take over his cities and become a bit of a bad guy. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what revelations we see in the Teclis book. Anyone got anything in particular they'd like to see in that book? Any developments or revelations maybe? We know that the main storyline is pitted around Teclis and Nagash having a bit of a face-off. And I'm not being funny, but these things never go well for Teclis, do they? I've got a feeling he ain't going to be coming out of this too well. And maybe just mess up everything, as he tends to do. Tyrion, Jay says. Well, Tyrion is mentioned in the Lumineth book, isn't he? I am surprised that we haven't seen a Tyrion model, and I don't think we're getting one, certainly in this wave. Now, it could be if as we've, you know, suspected that the Broken Realm series leads up to a new edition of the game, that in itself could be a good time to reveal Tyrion and a new model for him. You know, if they're framing the Lumineth Realm Lords to be the kind of like the main good guys, though that's questionable as well from a few of the short stories we've read, where I think they're like brainwashing people and stuff. Yeah, new edition could be a good time to introduce them. Tyrion, sorry. Jay, I think you put it in an article on the site, pointed out that the banner bearer has pictures of the two creatures. So one of them is the mount that Teclis is on, and then there's another creature on the other side of the banner, which kind of looks like it could be the mount for Tyrion. Obviously we know he's not coming in this wave, but you never know for the future. So we've got him down. I think what we'll do now is put a base coat on the chameleon skink. So I'm thinking we use Deathward Forest, something like that, as a base, and then we'll build up from there. Or something quite jungly. You know, this guy's blending into the background, so we need something a bit stealthy on him. So let's mix up some of this. What did everyone think of the orc stuff? I know we saw the model for the pig squig thing. What's it called? A squig hog. But again, there's a lot of stuff in that trailer that I think could well be new models. There was what looked like a I don't know, a Nobbin Mega Armor with a Gretchen on his back with a gun. And then it looked like later on in the trailer there was another variant of the same model, but with a squig on his shoulder. That would be really cool. I do wonder if we're getting a new Orc Boys kit who can be built more, you know, snake bite, more kind of savage orc style. If you could do a full kind of yeah, savage orc style we've already got a replacement for Boar Boys with the Squig Riders. I think there is an element in that trailer as well where you see what looks like a chariot or a cannon or something pulled by a squig. So that sounds pretty cool. You know, the last wave that we got of Orcs was very much bringing all their old vehicles up to date, which was well needed. But because of that, a lot of the models kind of missed out in that release. Where it looks like this release will be adding some new kits, new concepts to the army, which is cool, and something we've seen a lot in both systems recently is lots of throwbacks to stuff that was in the game a long time ago. So yeah, all those. I remember in Epic 40k you had the Boar Riders and stuff, and second edition I think there was even models for them in 40k, but they've not been in the game for a long time. So yeah, stuff that brings all those ideas back and adds a few new concepts, along with some wacky orc technology, of course. We're going to throw that in there. I think that is something that is much needed for the game. Andy says, I'd be up for 40k orcs, new 40k orcs. Yeah, absolutely. Steve would rather have Mangler squig-sized cavalry. That'd be really cool. Yeah, I don't think the guys that we're seeing are quite that big, are they? They look like they're maybe a similar size to Gore Grunters, maybe. So yeah, having some kind of big, you know, vehicle-sized squig would be ace. I know we've got the Squiggoths and the like from Forge World, but something of that size for the kind of more feral orc part of the faction, that'd be really fun. I would be all over that. Jay would rather have new Craft World Eldar. Of course you would, Jay. Every time you say you want new Craft World Eldar, Games Workshop actually put the release back a couple of months. I think at current you get a new Craft World Eldar sometime before the fall of the Eldar. Dave says Chariot of Squigs. Yeah, like Chariot of Fire, but more squiggy. So I've got an orc army, so I'm looking forward to seeing what we can add. They are Evil Sons, but I'm sure I can find room for some more savage elements. I'm sure they'd fit in well with the Rucker Truck Squig Buggy. And if you've not seen our outtake video from our Orc Battle Report, where I must have tried to say the name of that vehicle about 10 times during the video and failed horrifically. Jay, they'll finally go extinct in Warzone Charadon Part 2, no my luck. Possibly. Andy was to reset the clock. Craig Sinclair, for what it's worth, I'm sure this is the edition that Eldar get that huge range refresh that they need. Yeah, I think in a perfect world, Games Workshop would want to redo all the models for all the ranges if they could. Obviously one of the things that stops that is, you know, limitations of reality. So, you know, there is only so many kits they can put out a month. There'll be a couple of times a year where they'll tend to do a whole kind of army redo. But, you know, over the last 12 months, and the last 12 months have been a weird one considering. I think we've seen quicker releases. Now I believe, I may be wrong, but I believe their new factory or expanded factory is now up and running. So I think we're starting to see some of the effects of that in a quicker release rate. We're seeing more kits coming out. We're seeing, you know, stuff like the Lumineth. You've got, what was it, 13 kits up for pre-order next week. That is an awful lot of stuff. And in the past, that could have been, you know, a month's worth of releases. They're not doing that. They're just releasing it all in one go, which just shows how much stuff they've got to put out. You know, otherwise they probably would stagger it. From a player point of view, I much prefer having it all out in one go, because it means you can kind of work out and buy the army that you want. So yeah, in a perfect world, I think we'd get everything redone. It's just unfortunately at the minute, I think we've got to be lucky with the stuff that we do get. This little guy is a lot more fiddly than I thought he was going to be. I'm still not entirely sure on a scheme for him. Just want to get some base colours down on him and then see what I want to do. I bet you could do a really cool kind of scheme where he's kind of blending into the bit of rock that he's sitting on. Focus. So yeah, I think a classic like chameleon colour. But yeah, if it was particularly brave, I'd maybe, I don't know, do it from a certain angle so he blends into the background. I think that'd look really cool. But that'd take a lot of work, and yeah, I just want to get these guys ready to hit the table, really. And that's the thing, you can always go back to a model and add some more detail at a later date if you want to. I think to do that kind of like camouflage effect, you're going to take an awful lot of time, and getting all the kind of skin transitions and stuff to capture that effect of it disappearing. And if I'm honest, I've got lots of stuff to paint. I can't spend the rest of the month painting a single skink. So yeah, it's got a fairly basic colour scheme. To be fair, similar to the GW one, I think they've used a similar scheme with just kind of greens. So have we got all that bits? I haven't missed anything there. Now, one option with these Underworlds figures is to leave them separate from the base. Now, I haven't on these because I didn't think there was that many areas that were difficult to get to be fair. I'm sure that is going to bite me later on when I realise I've got to mess up my miniature to get to the scenery standing on. To be fair, I normally do base them separately. For some reason I just thought, nah, these will be alright. Wing it, it'll be fine. Dave says, Karma Chameleon needs to be playing in the background. Yeah. That'd absolutely be a copyright strike, Dave. And Jay, they're the most dated 40k range now. The Necrons, the Eldar, yeah, they are. They've got some old kits. I mean, I suppose Eldar is strange, aren't they? Because a lot of the old kits do still stand up to some of the more modern stuff. I would love to see a full plastic Eldar range, though. I think that'd be really good. Dave says the bases are so nice on Underworlds Warbands. Yeah, they are. They are really nice. I know some people have repurposed them for other things. I mean, that's an expensive basing project, but if you did, like the Dread Pageant, for example, they are amazing bases, and I'd love a Slanesh army based on those style bases. I kind of wish that Games Workshop did some new sculpted bases. We've had I can't remember what they're called now. The Age of Sigmar and the 40k sculpted bases that they did way back when AOS came out. A new variation of them with some of the kind of detail and seen in some of the Underworlds Warband would be really cool. I'm sure people would buy them as well, because people do buy like sculpted resin bases for stuff. And I think the AOS ones that they've currently got are a little bit dated now. Would like to see something new. I mean, that's the kind of thing that they bring out a new edition of the game, and for 40k we didn't get a new wave of bases. So who knows? Maybe it's something they've moved away from. You know, maybe they didn't sell too well. Who knows? Craig says, I'm sure Boy George is a big Seraphon fan. I am fairly certain that he is. Absolutely. Right, so we've got the green down on him. So I think what we need to do is do the gold next, maybe. There's a few like stone areas as well, so maybe we'll do that next. So we've got like inside this helmet is kind of stone there. I think there's a few elements elsewhere that looks stone. I think we use a combination of gold and silver for all the weapons. And then just want to look at the models. They've used like brown straps. We've got the red on the shield as well, and I think I'll mirror that on the skink as well. So that seems a good place to go next. Let's do the red on those. So quite a dark red, and then we can build up. Put a wash in, build up the layers, and then go from there, can't we? So let's get some paint out. Again, I'll just use a drop of water plus just to help this flow a little bit. That might be a little bit too thin, but we'll see how it goes. And again, this is just going to be on the scales on here. So essentially, this is another animal they've used the skin of to create this shield. So that's fine. That's going on really nicely. So yeah, we'll do this in a dark red, and then build it up later on when that's dry. Andy, I'd like it if they came with generic bases so that warbands could fit into my armies. Yeah, that's another point as well. So a lot of them are kind of like standing on rocks and stuff. And you do have the problem that if you are adding, say you're adding this warband to your existing Seraphon army, you might have them based differently. And you might prefer to just stick them on a standard base. Now, unfortunately, a lot of them, because let's say this guy, because they're standing on rocks and stuff, they wouldn't fit like neatly onto a plastic base. So it would be good if those kind of rocks and stuff were maybe sculpted to their feet, and then you could fit it to a standard base maybe. So yeah, I do see where you're coming from there, Andy. Especially if you're using them in a non-underworld setting, because sometimes if you have got, say if you had a unit of these, they would stand out a little bit maybe if they weren't based the same way. And the recent Underworlds Warbands have been pretty good as well. I haven't actually seen the War Scrolls for these yet. Has anyone looked at the War Scrolls for this Warband yet? How are they looking? I've not had a look myself, and like I say, the Slaanesh and the Daughters of Cain ones are really nice. Like the Daughters of Cain warbands, I'd take over generic Hag because they're just so much better. I suspect they'll get some points adjustments because of that, though. Interestingly, the guy who looks like a star priest in this warband isn't actually a spellcaster in Underworlds. Not that he needs to be. I mean, the warband's really strong. They've got some really cool stuff. The chameleon skink, for example, he only hits on criticals, but you know, give him some support and he's more likely to hit, isn't he? If he does get a successful attack off on somebody, they gain a move token, so you can pretty much shut down enemy moving and charging, which is really cool. Really cool. Cracker Tracker, oh yeah, finally catch you live. How are we doing? Glad you could join us. We previously streamed at 12 on a Sunday, but I found that a lot of people couldn't make that stream because, you know, it's right slap bang in the middle of the day and other people have got stuff on. So yeah, we thought we'd move it out till 7 PM, give people a bit of a chance to to watch the stream live. So yeah, thanks for joining us, Cracker. Big fan from Spotify. Awesome. Thanks for listening to the podcast. What are you working on today? We are painting the Seraphon Starblood Stalkers from Warhammer Underworlds. Really cool models, and yeah, we're getting some base colours down on these. Hopefully by the end of the stream we should have all these fully based, get some washes on them, and then should get these finished off next time maybe. If we'll see how we go, but I might try and stick in a sneaky midweek stream as well. See how we go. Can't promise anything. Obviously, with it being a big pre-order weekend, we might be furiously digging through the Lumineth box, but we'll see how we get on. So, question: what colour tongues does Seraphon have? Now, I was going to think a kind of like a pinky colour, but they're cold-blooded. So would they have like maybe a darker kind of ichor-like blood going through them? Undecided. Anyone who's an actual fan of lizards in the chat, let me know what colour tongue the lizard has. I'm thinking potentially black highlighted with grey for something a bit alien and weird looking. Yeah, I'll decide on that. What I am going to do though is start painting those stone areas that I mentioned earlier. So we've got the back of this guy's kind of helmet. That's going to be a stone colour, and then I think there's a few other stone elements, little stone elements here or there. Now this guy looks like he's drooling. If you can see that, let me get this into focus here. There's a little kind of trickle of drool coming out of this guy's mouth. Let's Screamer Pink on the website. Screamer Pink's the kind of go-to colour for that kind of stuff, so that would also work. Trying to find how they painted that. Is it drool? Oh no, it's something draped over him. Gold. Okay, interesting. That part of his headdress then? Maybe. Okay, well we'll come back to that when we hit the gold stuff. But we'll get the stone down. So I normally start with like Mechanica Standard Grey and work up to Dawnstone for stony bits. We'll probably do a similar colour on the bases, but at this moment in time I'm just going to pick out the kind of stone element, which I think is really just his crest on there. And maybe kind of this area here, and then we'll paint in some kind of coloured areas on the details, and then we'll have a lot of gold on these guys. I think they've gone for a more brassy colour on the GW scheme. I'm thinking more kind of a shiny gold Inca kind of vibe to them. So get some grey mixed up. And we'll paint that into the detail on here. How's the cam looking, guys? I'm not entirely convinced, and if it isn't in a great spot, I might stick us on pause a second while I switch to the normal mount stand that I use. If it looks right to everyone though, I'll stick with it for the stream, but I think it's struggling to focus today. What are your thoughts? I look forward to the days when the three of us can do this together. Me, Jay and Dave all do some painting live on the stream and have a bit of a chat. Hopefully one day soon. Oh, you know what? I've missed some red on the back of this guy's shield. We'll go back and do that now. These are really characterful sculpts though. I do quite like the Seraphon. They're really fun. Jay says looks fine. Awesome. Okie dokie, cool. So I think it's only that area that's grey. And that's a bit flat. We'll do another coat and do some highlights and put some shading into that. But we'll let that dry. we'll skip back to this red, because I think that little puddle of it is probably dried. Oh no, I might have enough there. And then paint in the rest of this shield. They also mentioned on the stream that there's another stream coming soon. So yeah, I'm interested to see what they show off for that. Presumably Bellacore is going to have some kind of book in 40k as well. So so yeah, whether that be in the form of a new Demons Codex maybe, or another campaign supplement, I'm not sure. I think I'd rather a new Demon Codex, honestly. It just means we can it'll update all the old, there's a lot of war scrolls from the Slanesh range. I think there's stuff maybe from the Nurgle range that isn't in the current book. I'm fairly certain Rotigus isn't in the current Demon book, so being able to add all that kind of stuff to it would be really fun. So I think that's what they need. And you never know, we could get something cool like, unaligned lesser demons or something. It'd be pretty fun. Right, so what we'll do now is do the gold, I think. So, Retributor armour, and then there's a load of gold on these. All the kind of weapons will do gold, will have silver elements on them as well. All the shield, I think they've done gold on the GW site as well. Let's have a look. Yeah. So we're blocking all the gold. And, yes, here we go. Hive Tyrant in the chat. Love you, Sprues and Brews. Love you too, Hive Tyrant. How are we doing? Are we having a good day? What are you working on at the minute? Anything exciting? Krakataka is pumping out the 2nd edition box of Blood Bowl. What are you? Which team are you working on? I have got all the frames down here somewhere that I need to get painted. The first ones I want to do are the undead team, just because I think they look amazing. You know what? I might make a start on those while waiting for all the vampires and stuff to come out. Get my undead fix that way. High Friend says not at all DX. Who knows? Who knows? Translations in the chat, please. So yeah, these are cool models. The problem with Underworlds is I'll start painting the model and then go, oh, I really want to do an army of these, and then rapidly I've got way more armies than I've got space for. Yeah, it's a problem, but it's fun. I suppose on the other hand, though, if you do want to try out an army, at least you can get a little sampler if you'll get on painting them. And I think we've all had maybe projects that we've planned in the past, and then when you get to actually painting the models, you don't actually enjoy them. So yeah, being able to try out what an army is like to paint on a small warband is really good in my book. Dave has still got his ogre team to do. Yeah, I thought you'd done them, Dave. You've certainly played some games with them, haven't you? Back before the first lockdown, we had a bit of a league going on with the Purple Sparkly Unicorns, a local group that does gaming and tournaments. Check them out. Andy, feel free to stick a link in if you've got any Purple Sparkly promo to share. Hi Tony, that's what I was working on, not currently painting anything. Awesome, okay, got you. Sorry, having 3 conversations at the same time. Just showing support, love your guys' podcast a lot. Well, thank you very much. That means a lot to us. We enjoy doing it. It's fun to be able to get together every Monday and talk Warhammer. This week should be a big bumper episode because we've got, if I grab them, the Drakari Codex to talk about, and the Book of Rust, the first part of Warzone Charadon. So we will be chatting about them on the show this week. So yeah, make sure to check it out. It normally goes out Tuesday, Dave, I want to say. Time is fluid in the warp, so yeah, we record on a Monday. It gets to you guys a little bit later, just due to the fact we've got to edit it and get it out. So yeah, looking forward to that one. Good to see you on the stream as well. It's fun talking to you guys while we're painting models. We kind of thought that, look, I'm going to be painting models anyway, so I may as well stick the cameras on and have a chat with you guys while we do it for a bit of fun. Dave says scored with a Nobler. And Jay, excellent. Tuesday is indeed when the show goes out. Perfect. If it seems like I'm manically responding to comments that you can't see on your platform of choice, it's because I can see both the YouTube and the Twitch comments through my little console. So I'm not going mad, I'm just responding to comments on another platform. Steve says it's great to have a UK-based podcast. Yeah, well, when we started doing this site, we felt that obviously there's a lot of American podcasts, there's a lot of American YouTube channels that do battle reports and stuff, and we basically wanted to make a website with the kind of content that we'd like to kind of check out ourselves. And we don't. It's just a hobby. We don't do it for a living or anything. We don't charge a premium subscription or anything like that. We just do it for love of the hobby. We enjoy talking hobby, so thought that we may as well do it and share it in a format that people can enjoy too. So, and we're really happy to say that certainly over the last year the site's gone from strength to strength, and we're getting loads of viewers, loads of listeners on the podcast. So thank you guys for your massive support listening to us. If you keep reading and listening to our content, we'll keep making it basically. If you do want to help support the site though, obviously we've got an affiliate link with Element Games. Anything that you buy through that link we get a percentage of, which helps run the website and pay for the equipment for the battle reports and the podcast and stuff. And we've also recently launched our merchandise store as well. And again, in there we get a little bit of money for everything bought, and again that helps to run the website. So, but we do this for fun, so nobody should feel obliged to to get anything through those. It's at the end of the day, we enjoy doing this because we love Warhammer, basically. Yeah, it was a fateful day when me, Jay, and Dave kind of met up on a bus to Warhammer World. We'd gone to college together, and I was aware of the guys, but I don't think we'd ever chatted during college other than seeing you guys. And it's crazy how long have we even been doing this? 4 years, maybe 3-4 years. We've managed to build our own little slice of the internet, which is really fun. Anonymous Rex, how's it going? And John, evening. How are we doing, guys? We all having fun? I am painting Seraphon, the Starblood Stalkers for Warhammer Underworlds. What are you guys working on? Anything fun? Good to see you both in the chat. Dave says Games Day. Coach from James Switch Crew. What did I say? Warhammer World. Yeah, Games Day. I meant Games Day. Yeah, that. When was that? Do you remember when that was, Dave? I want to say it might have been the last big Dark Eldar update where most of their model range got redone. It was a long time ago, and obviously we'd played. We didn't start Sprues and Brews immediately. Then that's just when we kind of started playing games together. And if I'm honest, I'm not even sure what spawned. I have a feeling Dark Eldar release. Yeah, so when the Dark Eldar range was redone back in the mists of time, when the current range as it is now, I guess, got released an awful long time ago. That's making me feel really old now. Yeah, no, it was a really good games day. It's a shame. Obviously, you know, nothing we can do about it. But it's a shame that Warhammer Fest was cancelled last year, and presumably just due to the current global situation, we're not going to have one this year, I don't think. But I look forward to the time when we can go to shows and events again, because they were really fun. Even for the camaraderie of meeting other Warhammer fans. You know, we've met quite a few people in a queue for an event. Daz, if you're still in the chat, I think we met you outside Warhammer World queuing for an open day or something. John's working on Rocket, Groot and Starlord for Marvel Crisis Protocol. Yes, I recently painted them myself. So Rocket, looking suitably manic, and I've got Groot here somewhere as well. I haven't painted Starlord yet, but he is also primed and ready to go on my desk. I really like these models because you can do them in quite a cartoony comic book style, which obviously really fits them being, you know, Marvel characters. So yeah, I think you'll enjoy painting those, John. They're really cool models. Dave remembers all the stores taking store banners. Yeah, there was something cool about all going to Games Day together on the bus. That's something I miss from the current Warhammer Fests. And also, it was a lot easier to all jump in a coach together rather than having to drive up and all the fun of paying however much it is to park in the NEC car park. I think last time I took the train because it was just easier than driving all the way up to Birmingham. Coventry even, isn't it? Coventry, the Warhammer Fest is the last few. I think the one last year was meant to be back in the NEC though. I'd managed to pick up one of the golden tickets, so it was a shame I missed out on that because I think it would have been quite fun. One day soon we'll be able to do that again. Andy is currently building Space Marines from Dark Imperium. Nice. What chapter are you painting, Andy? I take it you're not, you know, March from a Kraggin. Speaking of March from a Crag, have you seen those new word bearers from Forge World out next week? They look really cool. Sorry, any Ultramarine fans in the chat, but they do look cool. Alright, so I think we've got the kind of triangular areas on this kind of piece here, and that goes around the back. I think we're going to alternate them red and blue, but we do kind of the gold cross beams, and he's going to have quite a lot of gold detail on him, so we shall continue working in the gold on here. Dave says Warhammer Fest 2022. Hopefully, if that is a thing, I would be very much up for doing it. I mean, if I'm perfectly honest, I'm really excited about just being able to walk around Warhammer World again, let alone a show. Being able to check out the museum. Heck, even being able to wander around the Forge World store and then grab a burger in Bugman's. That sounds amazing right now. One day we'll get there. Hopefully by the end of the year we might be in a situation where we can do stuff like that again. I'm even playing some games with the guys. You know, I'm hoping in a couple of weeks when you can meet people in gardens again that the weather stays nice and we can do some socially distanced Warhammer in the garden. A bit of garden hammer. I think that'll be much needed by the time it arrives. Jay says a huge eclair. Yeah. Oh. So, was it last time we went to Warhammer Worlds? Or a little earlier than that? They were selling these foot-long eclairs and Bugmans. Oh, they were so good. And me being, you know, super greedy, had to have one. John says a pint of Bugman's XXXXXX would go down a tree. Absolutely. Yeah. Did anyone else in the chat had the chance to go to Bugman's and Warhammer World and play some games? I know it did reopen briefly mid-lockdown, and I think it had changed quite a little bit. You could only go with people who you live with. I think the museum area was closed, and I think Bugman's was still closed as well. But the gaming hall was open and the shop was open, so you could go and get some cool toys. But yeah, a kind of to counter COVID, I think they took down most of the show boards that have got, you know, 3D molded scenery and replaced them with kind of more manageable ones that they could wipe down between sessions. So, you know, I think the Warhammer World team did try to make sure it was as safe as possible when it was open. Just unfortunately, not long after, I think Nottingham went into a higher tier and they couldn't open again. So hopefully by the summer, if things start opening up again, we'll be able to play some more Warhammer and make a trip to Warhammer World. Just before lockdown, Dave, who is lurking in the chat, managed to pass his driving test, and after me and Jay driving to Warhammer World many times, Dave could finally repay the various trips, and the world went into lockdown. He couldn't take us, so yeah. Andy Wood says, "Oh yes, Bugman's Burger." Anonymous Rex, never been got into the hobby a year and a bit ago after seeing a Mortal Realms book. Is that the magazine series? They were good for getting back into the hobby. Unfortunately, we did subscribe to Mortal Realms magazine, but they messed up the subscription. So, unfortunately, by the time we could have resolved it, we'd have missed a load of issues. So, yeah, unfortunately, we didn't get to cover that one. So I'm going to make sure that doesn't happen with the Imperium magazine one, because yeah, that looks a good magazine series. Dave says, makes sense to switch to normal gaming mats during COVID times. Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's better making sure it's safe for everyone rather than trying to rush an opening back. I think they'd even got to the point where the staff weren't allowed to use Warhammer World because they wanted to make sure it was safe for you know, the public to do. So yeah, it's really good. Dave says, I did indeed. One day I can drive us up. One day. We'll eventually get there. John, there's a site I work on that's not far from Warhammer World. Had a few trips for lunch on my way home. Yeah. It's about an hour's drive from where we are in Crewe. So, it's not too bad. You know, bizarrely, it was a long time until we finally made the trip to Warhammer World, and then since then, well, obviously not this last year, but since then we've tried to go whenever we can. You know, we tend to take turns between us on the drive, and so it isn't too bad. An hour's not bad anyway. A50 is normally pretty quiet and a straightforward run up to Nottingham. Worst bit's probably the A500 nearer Crewe, Stoke Way. That's sometimes a bit busy, but other than that, it's a fairly good run. So not bad at all. We've had some fun trips when we've been on the stream on Warhammer TV. Where obviously we've been there quite late, and there was one day where me and Dave ended up getting stuck in roadworks and went on a magical mystery tour around Nottingham and then following signs back to Crewe. We got home eventually, so it was all good. I had Navigator Dave in the side seat, frantically looking on his sat-nav to get us home because my car was just refusing to follow the diversion. But we got back eventually. It was a fun trip. Outside that though, not really had any issues heading to Nottingham. It's pretty easy to get to, and Warhammer World itself is loads of parking, no issues at all anytime we've been there. So yeah, I highly recommend a trip if you are in the UK and you're nearby. If you're a little bit further afield, I don't think it's too hard to get there from the train station as well. There's a tram stop just outside Warhammer World, so it is pretty easy to get there. So yeah, it's really good. Anonymous Rex, I had one of the Malignant sprues, got me interested in it, and I was now an adult and can afford. Yeah, that's it. When you're a kid, you know, you might get a box for Christmas or birthday. When you're an adult, it's dangerous because you can just blow all that disposable income on toy soldiers. Yeah, it's a dilemma we face every day, I'm afraid. Jay was for a 30k weekend the first time we went. Yeah, so we had all painted up armies for the Horus Heresy. I brought my Emperor's Children, I want to say. Yeah, I'm fairly certain I brought my Emperor's Children. Jay, did you have the Blood Angels? Dave, I think, had the Ultramarines. Friend of the site, Chris, brought some Death Guard, maybe? And then his brother brought Imperial Fists. Did Dan come as well with Alpha Legion? There was a fair few of us who went for a couple of days, and we booked the big. There's a big show table. If you've not been to Warhammer World before, in normal times, they've got some cool feature tables that are really, really cool, and they've got a big one. It's kind of like apocalypse sized, with a bridge that you can fight over. And yeah, we booked that for the weekend and basically just had a load of games of Warhammer. It was really fun. Dave says, what a fun night, almost via Burton-on-Trent. Yeah, it was a long trip back, but we made it. It was fine. We weren't scared. Not much. Andy says there's loads of hotels right next to it. Steve says, don't I know it? Yeah. No, it was really good. We need to do another Heresy weekend, guys, when we can. Get me Sons of Horus finished and we can take the War Master and his mates. Be fine. Yeah, and then since then, I think we always try to have, again in normal times, we would try and have a big kind of weekend during the summer, then again during the winter. My birthday is like end of December, so we tend to go up for my birthday and have a bit of a Warhammer weekend, which is always fun. And then yeah, whenever we've got a spare weekend, it's not too far, so we can just drive up and play some games. You know, I'm lucky to have a gaming room and table where I can play some games of Warhammer, but even with having that, it's still nice to play on the tables at Warhammer World, because they are something special. And if you've not been, just to see the museum, basically they've got every heavy metal model in there, so you can see the actual models that they use for, you know, all the photographs on the website and in the publications. And they've also got some massive they've also got some massive dioramas. So there's a massive board with the Ultramarines holding off a Chaos incursion, which is so well done. Such a nice board. Favourite part being Marnius Calgar fighting off Kavander, I guess, at the top of the spire. And on the we've got some gold on here. We can touch that up. On the board, each time you go, they have a bit of a challenge. There's an assassin hidden somewhere on the board. We have been many times and spent many hours looking at that board to try and spot the assassin. We have never seen it. And I'm sure it's been spotted by someone while we've been there as well. And I don't know if they still do, but they used to have it where if you actually found the assassin, you would win a free one, which is really cool. I think it's about £7 to get in there. If you are going to an event, though, you tend to get entry to the museum included. So yeah, we tend to go every time we go. It's really good. When we went a while ago, I treated my wife to the delights of the Warhammer World exhibition. She didn't find it quite as fun, but yeah, I believe under 8s, I want to say, get in free as well. So if you have got some little ones that are maybe into the hobby, they can get into it free. So yeah, your boys, Jay, I'm sure, are nearly ready for a trip to Warhammer World. Jay pointing out the abuse that we give him about Dead Sanguinius. So you might be aware of it. There's an old diorama by Mike McVeigh, I want to say, of Sanguinius on the Bridge of the Vengeful Spirit, or more precisely on the floor of the Bridge of the Vengeful Spirit. Looking a bit worse for wear after going a couple of rounds with Horus. Dead on the floor. Though to be fair, they have got a new Sanguinius display. Cygnus Prime, is it, in the Heresy section? Looks really good with Sanguinius leading the Blood Angels against a load of demons. Really cool display. John's also never seen the Assassin. Dave, you come out wanting to collect a load of armies. Yeah. Exit through the gift shop. Though in all seriousness, when we are kind of contemplating starting a new army, it is cool for a little bit of inspiration. I do very much like Warhammer World and miss it dearly. Jay, it's the 3-year-old who loves Warhammer the most, always asking about my models and watching me paint. We're going to bring him along next time, dude. He'll love it. Amazing family trip out to Warhammer World. Go home with a new army. Yeah, it'd be cool. I believe if you're in the States, I don't know where it is, but there is a Warhammer World style place. I can't remember what it's called now. Something Citadel, is it called? Oh, I can't remember now. But there is like a mini Warhammer World in America now. So if you can't get to the UK, then yeah, that is an option if you're in America. And if you're not near Nottingham but can get to Warhammer Fest, yeah, it's a different experience at Warhammer Fest. Texas, yes, that's right, it is in Texas. This is obviously a different kind of experience. It's not quite Warhammer System. There you go. There's a reason why Dave's in the chat. He reminds me when I forget all these important things. Yeah, the Warhammer System in Texas is like a mini Warhammer World. I think it has got a bar. You can also buy Forge World kits in there as well, which is good. Oh, John took his daughter when she was 3, loved it for about an hour, and then was bored. Oh, that's a shame. Yeah, it's... I suppose the good thing about Warhammer World, though, if they do get bored of the exhibition and stuff, you have got Bugman, so you can grab some food and a drink and have a wander around the shop. Back when... Forge World postage is pretty reasonable now, but back when the postage for Forge World stuff was based on a percentage of the price, it'd often be cheaper to just drive up to Warhammer World to get a kit rather than paying the postage. So I have occasionally driven to go and get something just because. I think when the Sisters of Silence Karen Acquisitors came out, I was super excited to get one. Phoned up the guys at the Warhammer World store, like, oh yeah, we'll put one aside for you. Drove up and yeah, picked it up there and then. Quicker and cheaper, arguably, factoring the price of the fuel. And had it in my hands that day, and I had an excuse to walk around Warhammer World as well, which is always worth doing. So I don't know if everyone in the chat is from the UK, but is everyone looking forward to being able to play games again at some point? What's going to be your first game that you play when the world does open up again? We've got an absolutely massive list of stuff that we want to play. Problem is, over lockdown, I've picked up more games as well. Painted so many models, I've got armies ready for everything, so I don't think I'll be too fussy as long as I can roll some dice again. See, Dave did challenge me to a game on Tabletop Simulator, and after umming and ahhing for a long time, I finally relented and downloaded it, and he's still not giving me that game. I think he's chickening out on fighting the Ever-Chosen again. I think you should get a Bone Reaper army together, Dave, and give us a go. 40k would be his choice. Using your Necrons, Dave, or your Death Guard. Necrons, Death Guard, or add mech. Well, yeah. April for the new book, so yeah, I've got a feeling we'll be seeing a lot of ad mech armies in the near future. Steve says Imperial Fists Reavers, all yellow or black with yellow pauldrons. I'd go black. I'd go black myself. I think that'd look really cool on them. Anyone else in the chat? Thoughts on Imperial Fist Reavers? Black would make them stand out from the rest of your Imperial Fists as well. If you're following us on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, Steve, throw us a picture of your completed ones. I'd like to see them. That'd be cool. Controversially, Andy Wood says all yellow. Oh, Dave says we will have a game this week. Excellent. So, Dave has got a bit of a love-hate relationship with the Ever-Chosen. I'm sure we've told this story on the podcast a few times. But in practice games, Dave can batter my Ever-Chosen list. But then when it comes down to an event game, or, you know, like when we were streaming, when it all matters, the Archeon pulls it out of the bag and, yeah, does some horrific things to Dave's army. John has accidentally picked up Crisis Protocol, Star Wars Legion and Titanicus while expanding 2 AOS armies which I've never played and 2 40k armies that I've not played since 7th. Have you enjoyed painting up the models though? That's the important part. Crisis Protocol, I've not played a game either, but I've really enjoyed painting up the models and I want to get more. They've had a bit of an event on, haven't they, the last few days where they're showing off some of the new releases coming soon. Spider-Man range is getting expanded massively with a new Peter Parker sculpt. There's also a New York apartment terrain kit. I love painting terrain, so I might have to pick up a few of them and make a bit of a New York City board to play games of Marvel Crisis Protocol on. Star Wars Legion I've not picked up, but it's by the same company, isn't it? Atomic Mass Games. So I have been tempted to pick up a kit and have a dabble in that. I heard some bad things about the original sculpts for the starter box, which is why I think I haven't tried it. John, if you've got the models, what are they like? Are they pretty good sculpts? Are they fun to paint? Because I am a bit of a Star Wars nerd as well, so I would fancy playing that. Titanicus is ace, really cool game. Again, similar story. Me and Jay were gearing up for some Adeptus Titanicus, but I think we've both got fully painted armies, but not been able to play it due to lockdown. And then yeah, John, if you are into playing games of or want to kind of dip your toe into a game of 40k or AOS at an event, I would highly recommend the Throne of Skulls events that Warhammer World does. Really nice, kind of laid back atmosphere. It's more about having fun and playing games than winning. So part of the scoring mechanism is based on, sportsmanship, how all your armies are painted. So in theory, you can win a Throne of Skulls without winning a single game if you're a fun person to play games with, if you're, courteous to your opponent and explain things, if you've got a really nice painted army. Somehow I managed to come third at a Throne of Skulls event by bringing an army list based around the massive dragon from Forge World. Partially because the final game, Andy Woods in the chat pretty much gave it to me because he was doing his own personal challenge to never take a double turn. I have got a feeling that game may have gone your way, Andy, if you hadn't have done that. But again, got my sportsmanship vote, so that's the thing about these events. More about having fun rather than win at all costs, and that is, I'm not one for min-maxing armies or going out to win at the detriment of the other player's fun. I'd always put the fun kind of first, and if somebody isn't enjoying a game, then what's the point? We do this to let off steam and have a bit of fun. There's no point playing something if you're just going to hamper the enjoyment of someone else. That's what I think, anyway. Obviously, some people like doing hardcore events, and fair play to you. It's just I'm more of a rolling dice and having a few drinks and having a laugh kind of guy. So John, I've got no problems with them. The early ones were in softer plastic. They're not as detailed as GW, but they're very nice. Yeah, I'd heard that the more recent ones are better. I guess since Atomic Mass took over, they're probably more like the Marvel Crisis Protocol miniatures. I might have to pick some up then and see how we get on with them. There is something appealing about painting up Darth Vader, if I'm honest. Dodgy Roller says, also being a nice guy. We'll never know how. Dave, never ranked top 10 in a tournament, but have received the sparkliest unicorn and won a wooden spoon. Hey, that's one of the hardest ones to get. I think one of the toughest prizes to get at Warhammer World is, I can't remember what they call it. I think it's called the Inner Circle, where if in an event all 5 players list you as their favourite player, and all 5 players list your army as their favourite army, you get a special award which is super limited and super hard to get, just because of, you know, how much of an achievement that is. That is my goal one day. I'd love to win that, but it is, you know, it only goes to the best of Warhammer players. You could not win a single game, but still get that just by being a nice guy. So, yeah, that appeals. Andy says, I think it's only been won 4 times. Yeah, it's a well. What am I trying to say? People who win it well deserve it, because it means that every single person that you've played against that weekend has had an excellent game. You know, that's Warhammer hero material. I've played some games against some people that have just not been enjoyable. You know, they've argued about rules points. They've had a really cheesy net list, and they've just not been fun to play against. You know, I don't mind getting absolutely rinsed at a tournament as long as it's fun. So my first game at the first event I played was against the guy who'd won the GT the previous year. So I had no hopes of winning the game, but he was really, I can't remember what his name is now. But he was a really nice guy and kind of gave me some advice, and it was really appreciated. And that was, even though it was, you know, a hard game, I had a great time. John, I was planning on to start playing sometime last year, but that went out the window. Hoping to go to a Sparkly Unicorns event when they start up again. They're only an hour or so away from me. So, John, Purple Sparkly Unicorn events are really, really good. Again, similar mindset to some of the events we've talked about. Nice bunch of players, and yeah, just a lot more fun than a win at all costs kind of tournament. Now, I believe that I may be spoilers here, but I believe there is an event in September planned at Element Games. So if you keep an eye on the Purple Sparkly Unicorns Facebook page, closer to the time we'll share the details on spruesandbrews.com as well. But yeah, they've, again, all going well, assuming that we're out of the pandemic by then. They are planning a event later in the year, so that'll be a bit of fun. It is at Element Games, which is a little bit further out, but it is a big venue, so yeah, that should be fun. And yeah, we'll see if we can. Obviously, Element are one of our sponsors as well, so we'll see if we can do any cross promotion stuff with the website, maybe. That'd be fun. Dave says Unicorn events are awesome. Biased because we've been team buddies, but Andy is ace. Haha. Yeah, Andy's a nice guy, and he's one of the guys who kind of puts together the Unicorn event. So yeah, if you're not already, Dodgy Roller, I believe, is his handle on Twitter. Really nice guy. Go and follow him. Andy was confirmed, yes, 2-day AOS event, 25th and 26th of September. I don't believe tickets are on sale yet, are they, Andy? Once they are, we'll share the news, I guess. But yeah, we'll be going to it. And I've never actually been to Element, so I'm looking forward to going from that view. Again, I don't think it's too far. It's Manchester way, isn't it? So yeah, it should be a bit of fun. And who knows, if you come along, you might be able to beat me at Warhammer as well. Now, the hard thing is, what armies are we all planning on taking to the next Unicorns event? I think I'm probably going to bring a vampire army. If they're out, so they've shown them off on the stream yesterday. Generally speaking, GW tend to reveal stuff 3 months before it comes out properly. So we're probably talking June-ish, maybe, for the vampires at the latest. And obviously we've got Curse City, which I guess is going to be in the next couple of weeks, maybe. So yeah, that should give me enough time to get a vampire army painted up for the event. If not, I'll be taking my Sons of Bahamut, because, you know, big chunky giants are cool. John says, I used to work around the corner from Element. It was a bit dangerous, my fault. I can imagine. Yeah. all those toys at 20% off. Yeah, that's going to end badly, isn't it? And it was Stockport right next to a Premier Inn. I don't know what the plan is. Are we driving up each day, guys? Are you staying at the Premier Inn, Andy? I guess Dave with the little one, you might want to head home after each night, I guess. But again, it's not too far away, especially if we take turns driving there and back. Not a bad run, really, is it? Okay. Well, we've nearly done the gold on these guys. I feel we're making progress tonight. So he's got like a gold belt buckle. Just have a look at the images on the GW site, just see what we've got going on. So yeah. See, they've done these inlaid bits of stone, so we'll paint it all gold and then we'll make a decision about how we're going to block it in. But yeah, they're really fun models to paint. If you are interested in how the Warband fights, I have got a full review up on spruesandbrews.com as well. They look really powerful. Really powerful. Obviously we haven't been able to play any proper games, so this is all subject to my interpretation of the cards and, you know, theory hammering it. But they do look really good. I think they're going to be quite tricksy to play against. They've got a lot of abilities that let you kind of push models as reactions. There's cards that let you push models as a reaction to somebody else pushing. So they're going to be slippery warband that's going to be able to just get whatever objective they want. And it's probably the objective game you're going to be playing. They can also, the Star Priest guy can also flip over feature tiles, so he can shut down enemy objectives and turn things into dangerous hexes, and yeah, he's going to be really annoying to play against. So yeah, I'm looking forward to being able to use these in a game. A similar story, Direchasm. We have some brilliant warbands, but due to lockdown, we've not been able to play. So definitely looking forward to changing that when we can. And also, when we can play in person, I think Direchasm would be a really kind of straightforward game for us to stream as well. So yeah, let us know if that's something you'd be interested in watching. Because we, well, one of our hobby resolutions for last year was putting out more content. And to be fair, we did while we could, but obviously the world got in the way of that. Dave says, tea is ready a little early. Catch you all soon. See you later, Dave. I hope you've got something nice to eat. I'm peckish myself now. Dodgy Roller, I'm going to drive. It's only 25 minutes from me. Yeah, that seems a plan, Andy. Oh yeah, it's not a bad run at all, is it? Oh, and cheers, Jay, for linking the review in the chat. There's a lot of gold on this guy. like I say, there's probably some inlaid areas here that I'm probably going to do a different colour. At the minute, I just want to kind of block in all the main colours, and then that's half the battle then, isn't it? You know, you can get away with a battle ready force with the colours blocked in. How's everyone's hobby going tonight? Have we managed to achieve much? Have we managed to paint what we wanted to? Is there anyone lurking in the chat that hasn't said hi? Feel free to say hello. Right, so what are we going to do? Is his tail gold at the end? Yeah, it is. Okay, so we'll do the banding, we'll do his tail. We've got the rest of his helmet and the shield to do gold, then his sword, and then I think we've got all the gold down on these guys, so pretty happy with that. We'll give the brush a bit of a clean. Ready for the final stretch on the gold. Has anyone else pre-ordered these guys this weekend? You know, only 6 models in the box. It's a nice little project to work on between armies. I'm super looking forward to the vampires coming out though. I think, are they the next ones? I lose track now. I think they're meant to be the next ones. And then we've got the Uruks, the Bone Reapers, and then I think the only one we haven't seen is the Idoneth Deepkin, I think, is the final warband. So hopefully we see what they look like soon. I think they'll be an interesting warband for Underworlds. John says Wildwood contrast makes Groot very quick. Yeah, Wildwood's a really nice paint. I used it on the, speaking of Idoneth, on the ship. I forget what it's called, but the scenery piece for the Deepkin, really quick. Just did it all with Wildwood. Yeah, it's a really good paint. Andy built 2 lieutenant things and a captain and Gravis armour, but I'm now about to start watching the Snyder Justice League cut. Excellent. Is that streaming anywhere in the UK, Andy? I fancy checking that out myself. I don't know. I'm more of a Marvel fan, to be honest. Everything's so, you know, I like a bit of grimdark as much as the next guy, but everything's very grimdark in a DC film, isn't it? It's always raining. Everyone's angry. But yeah, it does look good. I know it's had some good reviews, hasn't it? The Snyder Cut. And that whole saga's been... Oh, Now TV. Oh, cool. Yeah, that whole saga's been interesting. I wonder if this changes the way, you know... Could we see this happen more often? That we get essentially a recut special edition with pickup shots and redone special effects being a thing more often. I mean, it's also an interesting one in the fact that, you know, cinemas have been closed for a long time now. How does that affect the distribution of movies? We've seen Disney Plus put out a few of their new films as a subscription option. It's a shame. I do like going to the cinema. I did have I can't remember what it was called now, the Odeon subscription service where you pay monthly and you can go to the cinema as many times as you like. Odeon Unlimited, was it? Something like that. But I always enjoyed going to the cinema. It's just something about watching a film that way, isn't there, compared to sitting at home watching it. And admittedly, you know, we've got 4K TVs and surround sound and all those kind of things that were a perk of the cinema at home. I don't know, it's just something about watching a film at the cinema just appeals. I suppose one plus to watching at home though, you've got, you know, nobody chatting during the film, no one with the phone on. So there's pros and cons in there. I would be tempted to do a Seraphon army at some point. I did one way back at the start of AOS, and then got rid of them, but they didn't really have a proper book then. Obviously they've got a pretty good book at the minute. I do think they need some new dinosaurs. I can imagine a cool, you know, god beast or a big brachiosaurus or something. That'd be really, really cool. I'm kind of surprised we didn't see any, apart from the scenery piece, I'm surprised we didn't see any new kits when they last got redone. So I'm hoping that if there is a new edition of AOS on the horizon, that all the factions get some love with new models. With the last preview we saw that there's new Nighthaunt and Stormcast models come in, so you never know. Also, so on Warcom today, there's some new boxes coming out with the Broken Realm stuff. They did some of these last time, where I think you got quite a decent saving on the contents, but some of them look really good. Any of you guys tempted? There's a Nurgle one, which seems to have a load of Plague Bearers, plus some characters. That'd work really well even in 40k. And there was a Flesh Eater Courts one that seemed to have quite a lot of stuff in it. A really nice Ossiarch Bone Reapers one that had the Liege Cavalos and about 10 of the horsemen. I picked up the dark elf one with the sorceress on Black Dragon and a load of dark elf warriors that can be built a few different ways, because I wanted to do a Anvil Guard, or whatever it's called now, an Anvil Guard army. Andy really wants the Bone Reapers one. Anonymous Rex says, is there a list? Now I haven't checked because I've been doing the stream, but last time, if you went to, I think it's ageofsigmar.com/broken realms, don't quote me on that, there will be a link on the Games Workshop website or Warhammer community. Last time they actually listed the various boxes on there and the contents. If they don't, I might knock one together for Sprues and Brews when I can. Because, yeah, they were a decent discount last time and well worth picking up. Anonymous Rex, I picked up Gresh Iron Reapers. John, very tempted by Flesh Eaters, got a load of old Bretonians to use for conversions. Yes, that's a great idea. Yeah, that sounds really fun. Reliquary Knights and stuff all converted up out of old Bretonian bits. Yeah, I'd really like to see them, that sounds good. Reading the 40k supplement that we got in the week, I really want to do a Dark Mechanicum Force, but the fact that they're mentioned so many times within the book makes me think that they're probably going to get official models at some point. If it wasn't for that, I'd be tempted to start converting up a Dark Mechanicus Force using Nighthaunt bits and Admech bits and Demon bits, and just go to town with a weird, freaky looking Dark Mechanicum army. But obviously if there's a proper force coming out at some point, then I'll probably just hold fire, because I don't end up with units that I can't use, because they'd probably, if I converted it, I'd obviously base it rules wise on the Adeptus Mechanicus, where I've got a feeling if Dark Mechanics come out, we'll have stuff that's a little bit different. like the Negavolt cultists at Blackstone Fortress. And you know, you can always proxy and count as, but let's face it, if Games Workshop are doing official Dark Mechanicum stuff, the models are going to look really cool, aren't they? So yeah. Well, we've nearly done the gold. Good thing with these guys, once we've got all these base colours down, it's really just going to be a case of putting in the washes and then we can go in with some highlights. They're quite easy to do, which is nice. Really enjoyable to paint as well, these models. Yeah, they're really fun. John says, I had an idea for armies on parade. A mirrored board, flesh eaters and a broken castle on one side, Bretonians and a perfect castle on the other. That sounds amazing. That sounds a really cool idea. I like that. Yeah, you could, if you can get hold of one, the old Citadel Castle would be really good for that. But yeah, that's a really cool idea. I like that. I think that'd be super popular as well. Because who doesn't like Bretonians? When the old world comes out, if they do Bretonians, yeah, that's going to be an expensive week. I mean, from all the old world stuff that we've seen so far, I already want to start loads of stuff. You know, we know that we're getting Kislev, Bear Riders, doesn't get much better than that. And we know that there's going to be a Cathay force. So that's interesting. It's a part of the old world we haven't really explored before, but I'm sure it mentioned, like in some of the old lore, kind of like a dragon guard and monkey warriors and stuff. So yeah, something with a bit of a martial arts oriental vibe would be really cool. Steve says another option is eBay the Bretonians for a load of money. That is an option, but they're nice models, aren't they? I don't think I'd be able to bring myself to sell them. Bretonians look really nice, painted up as well. If you can get all the heraldry and give them a nice paint job and take your time, they'll look really, really good. Is that the old Polycyrene castle from my youth? I think there's been a few revisions of it. There was a plastic one that they released in the late 90s, early 2000s maybe, when the Warhammer Siege supplement came out. But I think there was an earlier one. John said, don't tell the wife that, she made me do it. Yeah, it's scary, isn't it, how much some of the things hiding at the back of your collection can be worth. I occasionally have a bit of an eBay clear out some of the old bits I'm not using. I have behind me got an old school Terminator squad. So look at them. That's a Terminator, isn't it? This box is from 1989 and was the original Terminator box for Warhammer 40,000. Work bought me that as a present one year, which was really nice. Really cool set. I keep thinking occasionally, oh, I should paint them up, but it's like it's a valuable collectible. Do I really want to pop it open and paint them? But then at the end of the day, you know, they're models, they're meant to be painted, aren't they? So yeah, it's what do you guys think? Crack them open and paint, or save them in the collectible fund? Oh, the Mighty Fortress. That's a good shout, Steve. John, I probably need to start working it now for 2022. It takes me that long to get stuff done. Well, that's a good thing with Armies on Parade, though, isn't it? You know, you can do it at your own pace. I think it's normally the last part of the year that they do it, so you know, you've got plenty of time to start working on it. And if you don't make, you know, if you don't get it finished by this year, it'll just G you up more to get it done for the following year. Anonymous Rex owns Mechanicus, but they're not my favourite to paint. Yeah, I had a Mechanicus army, and I painted some of it, but yeah, I didn't get on with standard Mechanicus. It was Mars coloured. And it took ages to do the kind of cloth trim on the inside and the red cloak. So yeah, I got rid of them in the end. With Dark Mechanicus, you can go a bit more gribbly and scary, so that's probably what I'd do with them. I'm surprised we've not seen a castle for Age of Sigmar. I mean, we had the Chaos. What was it called? The one that's meant to be like the Varan Spire. Chaos Dreadhold, something like that. But I'm sure there'd be like a castle equivalent. You know, the Warhammer World team made a Ossiarch Bone Reaper fortress for a display, and I just think that kind of stuff would be amazing to have as a scenery kit. I'm not sure why they haven't done it, to be honest, because I think it'd be quite popular. Because there's not really that much AOS scenery. You know, they could definitely add some new stuff, especially kind of when you look at the Sector Mechanicus stuff and the Zone Mortalis stuff. I mean, the new Luminous scenery piece looks amazing. Andy says, I don't think the Chaos one sold very well. No, I think the problem was the kind of all-in big castle was massive. It'd take up the majority of your gaming table, and then the individual kind of modular parts that they did were quite expensive, and I don't think they were the greatest quality wise. I think they were cast up in like a cheaper plastic, where more recently the quality of the scenery has been a lot better on like proper sprues and stuff. Ray Dramfield, if you ever get the chance to speak to him at an event, is an absolute scenery wizard. Really cool guy. He's he's a really nice guy to chat to about scenery. Steve says, I'm intrigued why all the current GW scenery is ruins. Honestly, I think it's because it makes it more playable. As cool as intact buildings would be, unless you can go inside it or something, which isn't really a thing in, you know, moving units around inside. It kind of just makes it a big block on the battlefield that blocks line of sight. And I'd be all up for that. I really like the what do they call it? The fortified mana set from Warhammer Fantasy. That's one of my favourite scenery kits of all time, and I'd love to see something like that for Age of Sigmar, or even if they just brought back that kit because it was so good. It was a bit janky how it went together, and mine falls apart all the time, but it looked so good, especially when you could start like kit bashing them together. Yeah, I really did enjoy that kit. So something like that. If they ever did a new Mordheim, it wouldn't surprise me if they released modular plastic buildings, maybe, to create the environment that you're fighting over. You know, Mordheim was all about jumping from rooftop to rooftop and fighting in tight, cramped streets. So, yeah, I think the Middle-earth building scenery, I can't remember what it is now, Lake Town, is really nice, and that kind of has those vibes. Scale-wise, that and the Rohan houses are probably a bit on the small side for Age of Sigmar, which is a shame. But the Rohan buildings are amazing. If they did something like that for Age of Sigmar with like modular walls and roofs and stuff, that'd be really cool. So, We are coming up to 9 o'clock, which is the end of the stream, alas. But we've managed to get quite a bit done on the Seraphon. Most of the base colours are down. We just need to paint the tongue. There's some straps and stuff that we need to paint. And then it's time to start going in with some washes. And then once we've done that, it's just a case of highlighting them up. So what I might do is get the washes down midstream, and then next time we're on, I'll paint these on the stream, we'll finish them off, get all the highlights done, and start doing all the fades on like the leaves and stuff. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with them for a couple of hours work. Hope you guys have enjoyed watching as well. And nice to see lots of new people in the chat as well. It's been nice to chat to you all. Jay, cheers. See you next time. And thanks, Steve. Glad you've enjoyed it. So yeah, that is the Seraphon. Certainly on their way to getting finished. This time next week, hopefully, we'll have them finished off. So yeah, until next time, we'll see you later, and hope you have a good rest of the weekend.